So in today's session, we are going to talk about the text tools in Power BI. Okay, so before we start, let's first import the data set, and so that we would be redirected to Power Query. Select the first sheet and click Transform Data. So as I said, in today's session, we are going to talk about the text tools in Power BI. Okay, in Power Query actually. So if you, first of all, we need to understand where do we find these text tools. So if you see, if you click the transform ribbon, in here you will find that these options are the split column. Okay, this section, if you see this section, split columns, formatting, extract, merge columns, parse. So this basically this section belongs to the text-based functionalities in Power Query. Exactly similar options that currently you're observing in transform ribbon, exactly same option you will find in the add column as well. Okay, see, format, extract, exact same, nothing else. Then again, formatting, parse, merge column, exact same thing. Now the real question is, why do we have the same options in both different columns? So I will tell you directly why is that. See, whenever you apply these functionalities uh, in the using the options in the add column, then what will happen? A separate new column would get created, a brand new column would be created, and this step would be applied. For instance, let's say if we apply this, let's say this is a name column, right? And let's say I want to capitalize each word. If I do that using the add column, then what will happen? I will, let's say, capital, I will make it to uppercase. So let's say I click on this, what will happen? A brand new column would be created. As you can see, Rahul Sharma, the completely new column has got created, and existing column is already there. Okay, but we do not need this, so obviously we will not use this option, so I'll delete this step. But if we do the exact same thing from the transform ribbon, then let's see what happens. So what I will do, same thing I'll select this column, and then click on this format option and select uppercase. Now this will not create a new column. In the same column itself it will modify. So I hope you understand why is it reflecting in both the tabs. Okay, all right, so this no so now we have understood how do we use this option, wherein we are no we can do the formatting in whichever we want, uppercase, lowercase, right? And let's say I just want to keep it like capitalize each word, and that way it looks good to me. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I want to split columns, but how do I split the columns? Let's say I want to split the columns basis the delimiter. What is the delimiter? Space. So if you see the names, there is a space between the first name and the last name. So what I will do, I will simply select no go to split columns and select by delimiter option, and this should separate the two columns based on the space. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so space is selected by default, and I will just select the leftmost delimiter, because if we start from here, leftmost is the first one, this one, Rahul, after Rahul. Okay, after the first name. So I will select OK, and this should create the two new columns. Okay, as we can see, this has been split now, but obviously the name looks very bad, so we'll have to rename this to first name, and this should be the second name or the last name. All right. Okay, so there is one more option that we can see in the text utility, and that is merge column, but that is currently disabled. So what I will do, I will select the two columns, that is first name and last name, and then so you can see the moment I selected these two columns, this merge column which was earlier disabled has now enabled. Okay, so now if I click on the merge column, it should create a new, just one column out of these two. Okay, so this is separation. Okay, so let's say we want to create this new column. So how do we separate this? Using comma, colon, equal sign. So obviously we need space between the first name and the last name. So I'll click OK so that it will get merged. And as expected, we can see there is a space between the first name and the last name, and we are able to merge the two columns, but the name again looks very bad. So I'll just rename this to full name. All right. Okay, now we will use one final option, and that is this extract option in here. So if I click here, okay, and you can see there is these options are there. Let's say for this particular data, let's say if I want to uh, extract based on the text before delimiter. Let's see what happens. What I will do, I will select text before delimiter. What is a delimiter? Space is the delimiter, and it says text before delimiter. So I'll click this and let's see what happens. So the delimiter is space, so I will just click space tab and then click OK. As you can see now, when I clicked OK, so what did we select? We selected this option, text before delimiter. So the text before the delimiter stays there, but the step afterwards has been removed, right? This is what the extract option can do. So I think this must have given you some idea as to how do we use the text tools within Power Query. Don't be somebody who wants no spoon feeding of everything. Try and put some effort. You can play around these tools and experiment. Okay, so there is one thing which I would want to tell you every single session, and that is, don't just watch these videos or any of the other videos. Don't just watch, practice it. Until and unless you practice, you won't learn. That's the reality. Okay, so it's important that you learn this by practicing. But when we watch these videos, we just have a feeling that okay, I've watched these videos for 2 hours and I've gained some knowledge, but that is a false understanding that you are having in your mind. That's not correct. Okay, if you want to learn, practice it. That is the best way. And it's important that you learn this as early as possible. So all I'm requesting you guys to practice, don't just watch. Okay, thank you so much.